Hey everybody, back again, and wasn't planning on it today, but given current events and the political happenings going on right now, had to talk about the elephant in the room, which is again the current impeachment issues of surrounding Donald Trump. So a lot blew up in the last 24 hours, and wanted to give my commentary on where I see things going and where this is leading. Trump again is in trouble when it comes to impeachment, and the Democrats are going. This is a freaking Wile E. Coyote cartoon, man. This is what we're living in now. So, if you're looking for like a Trump bashing video, if you're looking for a Democrat hating video, go somewhere else, some other channel. I'm not going to do that. I try and stay pretty objective. I try and stay historical. I'm a history teacher. So the way I make sense of things is by looking at the past, and that kind of gives me my prism, my friend. That's how I view things. So just a historical, analytical point of view. How rare is that these days, right? So if you are unfamiliar, which I don't blame you, the backstory is best I know, and I'm not like super invested in this, but this has been all over the news lately. Trump again is in trouble with impeachment. He supposedly had contacted the Ukraine, and I guess the narrative was trying to bribe or to strong arm or to hold funding and weapons or money from them unless they were investigating Joe Biden, and specifically Joe Biden's son, who received a lot of money from the Ukraine under weird circumstances, and Joe Biden tried to shut down an investigation into this money. This is just layers of corruption on top of corruption is what this is. So the Democrats are saying is that Trump is using his position to go after not only an American citizen to target them, but to go after a political enemy of his, a potential candidate in the next election that he might have to go against. And this is an abuse of power. It's against everything the country stands for, a constitutional crisis. Heaven forbid the president, dig up dirt or go after a perceived enemy of his, or something like that is what the left is saying. Trump is saying he did nothing wrong. Just this morning, they actually released the transcript of the phone call between President Trump and the president of the Ukraine. I actually just read it, and I don't see anything there. I guess the Ukraine president just won election. Trump called to congratulate him. There's a lot of patting on the back from each other. They throw France and Germany under the bus, which is kind of maybe funny. And then Trump at the end mentions, there's he kind of suggests or asks that the president look into the Russia investigation. There's a server of information that was supposedly stored in the Ukraine. The time frame looks like this was right after the Mueller testimony in Congress. So this was like over summer or late in the spring, just a couple months ago. And then he mentions Joe Biden just once and asks him to look into that situation. This is not made up. I guess there was an investigation into Biden's son. Joe Biden caught wind of this and didn't want his son being investigated. So this is when he was vice president, supposedly. Well, I mean, this is straight from Joe Biden's mouth. He's actually on camera during a conference bragging about doing this. So this, I'll take Joe Biden at his word. I know he makes a lot of gaffes, and he likes to mix stories up. So this could be one of those made-up stories. But according to Joe Biden's words, and I watched this video yesterday, kind of with a little swag, he was talking about how there was an investigation into his son who received a lot of money and was somehow on like a board of energy advisors in the Ukraine. I don't understand that. A lot of shady stuff goes on in the Ukraine. I think we can all agree on that. And Biden basically said, you need to fire the prosecutor going after my son. If you don't, then the United States, we will hold like a bunch of military aid or money to you. And I have an airplane leaves in 6 hours. I guess he was in the Ukraine when this happened. You got 6 hours to fire this guy, or else you ain't getting American aid. And they said, well, what are you going to do? You're the vice president. And Biden brags, well, you can call Obama up. He's like, got my back or something. And then lo and behold, the prosecutor was changed within that 6 hour frame. I guess Ukraine got their funding, and Biden was kind of like, he got a little bit of stroke, I guess you could say, and he, bragging about bailing his son out with this investigation. Okay, that's what Trump was asking about. We should put that fired prosecutor back onto the case, and we should dig into that some more. It was literally just 2 or 3 sentences in the transcript, and again, Biden is on tape bragging about this, and now we have the transcript of Trump's phone call looking into this. So what a twisted web we weave, right? As of yesterday, Pelosi and the House Democrats have finally, the Democrats have been wanting this for a long time, voted to proceed with like an impeachment hearing. I guess calling up the Ukraine and asking to look into some things is impeachable. I don't know. The transcript didn't sound nefarious. It did not sound impeachable to me. However, of course, there's always more going on. I guess a Ukrainian ambassador from the United States to Ukraine was like pulled from Ukraine at this time period. There was some funding that may have been pulled. I think I read it or saw from Ukraine kind of around this time. So it kind of looks like, if you are connecting the dots, that Trump, if he was kind of throwing his weight around, was again dangling a carrot in front of the Ukraine. Funding and stuff may be lost if you don't look into this if you don't reopen this investigation, which is the exact same thing that Biden did with trying to stop this investigation into his son. So Trump is going to be impeached for something that Biden has bragged about basically doing himself. So that's where we stand. Is it impeachable? Is this a crime? I am not a constitutional scholar. Like I said, that's not me. Right now, I don't see that unless there's more going on that we see. It is unnerving. I guess it would be unnerving if the president is using his office to go after a political opponent and to target them and to abuse his power in that way. Again, how far this went and is that really what happened? Would be hard to say. So that would definitely be a red flag. But again, this is the exact same thing that Joe Biden did when he was vice president. This is what Trump was claiming Obama did to him with the whole Russia investigation and the Steele dossier and the bugging of his hotels. And so it's like they're all corrupt and they're all involved in dirty, dirty things. It just seems that Trump is constantly kind of being put to task over this. So we will see. If that is happening, that's exactly what Trump is crying foul from the other side. And if he's doing that too, yeah, that could be an issue. But as it stands right now, I don't see anything super nefarious. This is unraveling as we speak. And this is a dead end. This is like a Wile E. Coyote thing again, right? So let's just say that the Democrats do go forward with impeachment proceedings, which it looks like they probably will. This transcript, I hope they got something else, because that transcript alone is not bad in any way. I don't think so. Supposedly this all began because there's some whistleblower who heard from a guy that there was something going on, but this guy wasn't really involved or girl involved in the process. It was all hearsay. Like a lot of stuff that we see these days, it's just hearsay, and there's no facts or actual evidence, or there's no even investigation of these accusations. We just jump right to prosecution. So if I was the Democrats, I would be worried because, again, how many times have we done this before, right? We had a whole 2 years of the Robert Mueller investigation into collusion with Russia and those crimes, which you can debate, but seems to have turned up nothing. I mean, show me the impeachment. Trump's still in office even afterwards. And so we spent 2 years, and now we're going to spend about 2 days, and we're just going to jump feet first into this latest impeachment pool. How many times the Democrats tried to do this and failed to deliver? This is just more of the same. They've never really gotten this far, but I think this is like the flimsiest of cases against Trump. So I don't see where this goes. Say they do get the votes and they do proceed. The Senate is Republican controlled, and they'll just kill anything so the Democrats end up losing again, unless there's something so nefarious, so evil, so corrupt that the Republicans in the Senate will have to go along with impeachment. But again, reading the transcript and looking at what's going on, that's not going to happen. So what's the end game for Democrats here? I have no idea. It looks like there's a lot of hubbub about nothing. I would not be surprised if this all blows over in a week when all the steam is out of the sails, the wind is out of the sails, sorry. And again, nothing. We'll get you next time, Donald Trump. Next time, right? I just don't see where this goes because, again, the Republicans are going to block anything that's flimsy, and it's not going anywhere. So, a lot of problems facing our country right now, and I guess the biggest one, according to Democrats, is Donald Trump. So, go figure. Who's the biggest winners and losers out of this? That's easy. Joe Biden. Biggest loser by far. He's not doing well. I made a video yesterday how he's trending downward in the primary. And like I said, this is just going to put a lot more light on this whole Ukraine situation. It does not look good. Again, his son made a lot of money from Ukraine. Why is he there? Why was Biden adamant to shut this down? Again, everything that the Democrats are accusing Trump of doing is exactly what Biden was doing, on his own words. So he's the big loser right now. This is not what his campaign needs. If any more stuff comes to light, it probably won't be very favorable to Joe Biden. And this is probably, it was already happening, but this will probably be the nail that sinks his campaign. It's just, this could blow away, or this could linger and last. And if the Democrats really dig their heels in and push all their chips in the middle, and this is our best chance of impeachment before the next election, Joe Biden is central to this investigation. He's going to get dragged down. Heaven forbid he actually becomes the candidate and is kind of quasi under investigation during his election. Wouldn't be maybe the first time this happens, but whatever. Deja vu, right? History repeats. But I don't see him getting the nomination. So who's the big winner? That also is easy. It's Elizabeth Warren. Again, the video I made yesterday, she's already surging in the polls. A lot of polls today have her in a national lead. She's ahead in a lot of the early primary states. And this is to her benefit, right? If Biden was really the only thing in her way, she's already nipping at his heels or past him, I guess. But this is going to sink him. And so this is just going to push her up to the top. If she has any corruption scandal, I hope she's never visited the Ukraine. Never visited the Ukraine. Nothing good happens there. Sorry, Ukrainians. And so Warren is definitely the big winner here. I think this kind of solidifies and catapults her into a strong lead in the primaries as we get closer to voting. Where does Trump stand in this? Like always, it's hard to peg. Some people are saying that Trump, this is all 4D chess, Democrats, right? And this was all part of his plan and his scheme to entrap the Democrats. This guy plays more chess than Gary Kasparov, right? You do not, to get at your enemies, you don't put yourself under impeachment, right? I think obviously he was trying to look into the Biden situation, and this was during the Russian investigation still, and get Ukraine's help on looking on some of these matters. I don't think that's against the president. I don't think that's a crime for the president to do. The president is the only person in office who really is allowed and is supposed to go and meet and talk to other foreign leaders. So that's normal for him to do. Again, it's just, was there anything beyond the phone call? And again, we will see. But I don't think he brought the roof down on his head to take out Joe Biden. He could just wait till the election to do that if he made it that far. So I don't think it was done on purpose. I just think something came out and, like always, the Democrats are so eager to jump the gun. Trump feeds on this. He likes to fight, and he can twist this to fire up his base. And it's, again, more evidence and more proof, and he has a point. The Democrats are only out to get him, and they will jump to any conclusion or make any assumption to try and get this guy out of office, right? Instead of focusing on the upcoming election and trying to get the best candidates and try and gear up for that battle, because it will be a battle. Instead, I guess it's best for the country to drag everybody through impeachment proceedings. Not the choice I would make, but I'm not in office. So where does he end up? Like I said, Trump, it depends. Probably like he always does. He might get, beat up or bruised a little bit. I don't think he's getting impeached. I don't think he's getting out of office. And he will use this, just like the Mueller investigation, like everything else, to fire up his base and to drive home his point that there's a witch hunt after him and there's an agenda after him, which he's not wrong, and use that to propel himself into the next election. And if you're a Democrat, you got to be a little worried. Long video, I'm almost done. Man, has there ever been a more investigated candidate or president during election than Donald Trump, right? All his dirty secrets, all his dirty undies have been exposed and they're out in the open. How much more is there to dig up on this guy? And, if Warren is the candidate, she's got an uphill battle to fight because, I guess any new scandal could happen, obviously, like we see now. But it's just like, nothing sticks to this guy. They've exhausted themselves trying to throw him under the bus, trying to, peg something on Donald Trump. There's a reason he's called Teflon Don, right? Just nothing sticks to this guy. And, you got to be worried. Democrats, they may have fired their wad, prematurely. Double excuse me. And what else can they do? They're not leaving themselves. They're kind of backing themselves into a corner here. And going all in on impeachment and not getting that impeachment is not going to make you look very strong. So, whatever. Just what we see. And I'm sure by the time I post and upload this, the whole thing is going to change. And who knows what happens tomorrow. But I think we can all be safe in assuming it's just going to be the same old every day. Nothing really is going to change. Anyway, okay, I'll be back with a more entrepreneurial video tomorrow. Like I said, had to talk about this today because it's all over the news, and well, may you live in interesting times. All right, I gotta go. See you later. Bye.